All right, I wanted to do one of these to kind of go through and show you how to enter this one into your calculator. Is going to be the biggest thing here. We're going to use a payment or an investment payment formula, okay? This is if we're going to invest a very specific amount on a monthly basis. All right, so this problem asks for $237 that you're going to save every month for 51 years. That seems like a long time. It will return quite a bit of money because of that. And our investment return is 10.35% per year. And it says how much money would we have at the end of 51 years. So let's bring in what our investment formula is. And here we go. And it's got a lot here. PMT, this is my payment. There's kind of our key down below here. This is the balance at the end, or some future value, this A. And this is what we're looking for. We're going to solve it for this one, for this particular problem. APR, of course, is the interest rate. So whatever the interest rate is, we will have to convert that from a percentage down to a decimal. N is number of payments per year. Since we're going to be paying monthly, it will be 12 payments per year. And then a Y, of course, is the number of years. All right, so let's bring in back our original scenario here. $237 a month for 51 years. 10.35%. Okay, so I'm just going to start filling in what I know. The payment amount is 237, so I'll go ahead and fill that one in. 237 there, and this is times, and this whole quantity here. So 237, let's see what else we know. APR we know, 10.35%. If we converted that to a decimal, remember when we're converting a percent to a decimal, we move it over two places. So I'm going to move my decimal over right in front of the 1. So my APR would be 0.1035. And notice how that comes into two spots. Let's back up just a little. APR is in two different locations. We need to make sure that when we update that, it'll go into two different locations. My N, of course, is the number of payments per year, and this is monthly. So number of payments, there are 12 months in a year, so my N would be 12. Notice there are 3 locations, though. N has it in 3 different locations. So whenever I write in 12, I'll change the 12 in all 3 locations. Then what we have, our last thing we need to enter in is our Y. Our Y is 51, but let's look here for a second. This is 12 times Y. So when we input our 51 in here, it's not just going to be 1251, it's going to be 12 times 51. So we want to make sure to enter that one in correctly. So 12 times 51. All right, so now what we want to do is just basically type this into the calculator. So let me get out of this PowerPoint here, and I'll pull in my calculator. Let's go down here. Here we go. And we're just going to what we wanted to do is mirror what we see right here. So I'm just going to start typing this in, 237. And I'm going to go times, and control division is how we get that fraction. Okay, now it's kind of starting to look like it. I always try to just mirror it exactly. So 1 plus, and of course I need another fraction, so control division will give me that one. Up top it's going to be 0.1035. Down below it'll be 12. And this here is all raised to a power, and we do that by this little circumflex sign here. This little, looks like kind of like a roof on a house. We click on that one, now we're in the exponent, and it's 12 times 51. 51 years. Okay, now on bottom, whoops, I forgot this here, it's -1, so I need to make sure to include that. I don't know why, but I always want to forget that one, so see if you can be better than me and not forget it. On the bottom here, I have another fraction. Let's see, it'll be 0.1035 divided by 12. And all I'm going to do is just hit enter, and it will give you my answer. And here's my answer. It looks like that'd be 5,239,761. And I've got all this, and it asks me, this is when it becomes important, it asks me to round it to the nearest cent. So 27 would be my one. I would not round 27 up. It would just be plain old 27. So let's bring that one back in here. By the time I round it correctly, I end up with 27 cents. And whether you put commas in the online system or not, either way it won't mark it as correct. So the biggest thing is we know what our savings plan formula, our investment formula is. We just plug it in, whatever our calculator tells us. As long as we can round it correctly, we'll be okay. But this is interesting, $237 a month, and you'd have $5.2 million by the time you go to retire if you waited 51 years. So that's the power of compounding interest. That's why we want to start saving our money a lot sooner in our lives rather than waiting until we're 60 to start saving it.